Welcome back. One of the great things about getting to guest host the morning show is to have a chance to spend time with so many people in our community who are doing good works for others. And certainly one of those most important organizations in our community is the Park City Education Foundation. I'm joined this morning by Jennifer Billow and Dr. Juliana Miller. Good morning. Nice to see you all. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You got an event coming up too. It's that time of year when everybody is reinforcing their resources, their coffers. It's an important and in all seriousness, a really challenging thing for organizations right across all of Summit and Wasatch counties. Certainly the E of education indicates the importance and the seriousness of the mission that you all have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we exist, to raise money for the Park City School District. So people hear me say this all the time. Utah's the lowest funded state in the country for public education. There's a lot of reasons for that, and probably most people don't want to pay more taxes. So we have stepped in to raise money to fill in for the things that we want in our community for our students, whether it's art or first generation mentoring for college students or coding at the elementary schools. So that takes a little over $1 million a year. And our biggest fundraiser of the year is coming up this Saturday, the Red Apple Gala. And people also think of us with Running with Ed, and that's giant in terms of people. But the Red Apple Gala raises almost $400,000. So it is it's a critical beginning piece of our fundraising, because again, at the beginning of the school year, we start at zero and raise the money again. And it's a great time. We're very lucky. The Montage Deer Valley has hosted it. This will be the 8th year. We sold out in 10 days, and it's the whole dress up, silent and live auction, wonderful dinner, after party with DJ Dolph. So it's a great time. One of the reasons I brought Juliana on is Miller Orthodontics, the minute they came to town, wanted to get involved with the Ed Foundation, and Juliana has 3 kids and she can tell you about them. But when businesses sponsor events like the Red Apple Gala, what that means is every dollar, when you buy a ticket or a table or you buy your auction item, you buy a live auction item, all that goes back to students. And so it's not just a business, though. There's families behind it, and that's really all I want to say about what you guys do, because you can explain far better than me.
I mean, we've sponsored for a couple years now, a few years, and we've done Running with Ed as well. But this one's our favorite for sure. I mean, who doesn't want to get dressed up and go have a good time? But it fits for our mission too, and so we opened our practice about 3.5 years ago here, and we've been so fortunate. The community support, and most of our patients are children. They're in the school district.
Sure.
And so we are just thrilled that they've allowed us to treat them, and so we want to make sure that we're sponsoring things that support them also. And I have 3 kids in the school district, so we value education. Clearly, we've had our share of it, and it's important to us that the teachers get what they need, and that the kids get the extra programs they need, and that the kids are having the best they can get at this stage. So we love it.
And it feels important from my perspective that despite the fact, as you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, that Utah, not the strongest in educational funding across the U.S., on one hand, it's a little bit of a shame that the Park City Education Foundation has to exist.
Yes.
On the other hand, and I always come out on the optimistic end, so thankful that it does exist, and that you all put in the time, the effort, the energy, the dedication, and in the end, you're asking people for money. That's a hard thing to do, and I try to think about that and reflect on that work that you're doing and how important it is on behalf of the students. To talk about how that process has been in recent years. Of course, like we say, there are so many people raising funds for great causes. We're just here with the Peace House for their Bling Fling coming up, and of course, a gravely important mission. That being said, we're talking about kids, we're talking about our future. Talk about the challenges and how things have changed for you all in being involved in this work in the foundation.
Totally, that is a great question. You know, the Ed Foundation has been around 32 years.
Wow.
And so when we first started, there was a teacher who wanted to send a high school science teacher, 2 of her students to a space camp at Stanford. And there just, you know, wasn't any money, but the state happened to have a matching grant of $2,000. And so she asked some parents to raise $2,000, and that was how the Ed Foundation was born. I think the changes that we've seen in the last 5 years, which is kind of also as the explosion of fundraising has happened, and fortunately, people are so generous in this town, is it's not just the academic we have to provide our kids anymore. So we actually have a sad anniversary today for several reasons. It's September 11th. It's also the anniversary of the second child who died at Treasure Mountain 2 years ago. And what that brought to light was a glaring need for student wellness and teacher wellness as well. And so within a month of that, we have our teacher grants. They're due on October 31st. We had almost $25,000 in asks for student and teacher wellness initiatives, whether it was bringing meditation into the classroom or bringing in counseling for the teachers and the counselors. And since then, last year, we did a pilot program with the Mindful Schools curriculum at Ecker Hill. So these 2 boys they were 2 weeks into 8th grade. So they really had come from Ecker Hill. And so we thought that's the best place to try a pilot and really gather data on how this Mindful Schools is working, because it sounds great. Is it working though? And what the counselors there are telling us is far fewer kids are going into detention. They call it something else now. Far fewer kids. I think it's called, was it ISS?
We're all nodding.
It's called
detention.
Some acronym. You know, government loves acronyms.
Yeah.
But anyway, it has been an incredibly successful pilot, and it's training the teachers to take that mindful minute, take that breath, and then they help their students learn that. And what we were getting feedback too from the teachers, one teacher was like, by January, I have this knot in my neck that won't go away. She goes, I don't have it this year. So I would say that is probably, you know, sometimes we fundraise for winter coats. Sometimes we're fundraising for snow boots. So I would say that's probably the biggest change that we have seen is, yes, the academic rigor expectations are higher, but then there is also this whole child piece, and there's not a lot of funding for that.
Well, the work continues on. Big event coming up. Pre-congratulations. I know that most of the hard work is done now. I'm sure there'll be a few more days of rushing around and asking, what am I forgetting? But we certainly appreciate the work that you all do. Juliana, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for
Thanks for having
M2
me.
being involved.
Absolutely.
And would you like to give a shout out your online presence, website, et cetera?
We are Miller Orthodontics, m2ortho.com. Check us out.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Jennifer, nice to see you.
Thank
Thank you for what you do. And I'm sure we flashed it up a few times during our conversation, but tell folks the website for the Education Foundation.
Sure, it's PCEF, the number 4kids.org, so PCEF.org. And you can go on there also. We have opportunity drawing tickets, and we sell admissions to parties that people host throughout the year, all through the gala as well. So if you can't go, you can buy an opportunity drawing ticket for a prize.
Those are fun. Yep.
Fantastic.
Those are fun. It's a good time.
Good stuff. Well, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate the hard work that you do. And I suppose in a lot of ways, the event itself, even though there's still stuff to do, is a lovely culmination for all the hard work that you put in.
It's
So
good.
nice to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to wrap the show after this. Please stay tuned because I love you.